Hello and greetings to all of you in this episode. I am here to present you with a fascinating topic on how to completely transform your life in just 1 week. I believe many of you may find it easy to understand and predict the content of this segment, but I hope that after listening to this episode, you will gain a different perspective. Because in reality, there are many things in this world that we have to experience before truly understanding them. It's similar to how there are many dishes that may look unappealing or even unappetizing, but once we taste them, they turn out to be delicious. Life requires experiences, and when we successfully experience something, our perspective on it completely changes from the initial impression. In this episode, I will guide you through a super simple method that will not only help you perceive something strangely new, but also potentially allow you to elevate your life. In just 1 week, it will be a complete transformation, my friends. It's a feeling that I have personally experienced, and I promise you that everything I share in this video will be incredibly simple and achievable for anyone, provided they have the willingness and patience to try it out before forming an opinion. Just like with different dishes, you can't judge their taste until you actually eat them. Similarly, this method works the same way, so go ahead and give it a try. Complete the process, and then you will understand what I'm talking about. Because I'm simply sharing my own experiences. Now, let's get straight to the main topic without further delay. Hello everyone, and welcome back to our program. Today, we will explore how we can practically change our lives almost completely. We're talking about a profound transformation, starting from the very roots, where it will blossom within that week. I will share with you a method that can make you feel like your entire life has changed in just 1 week. How can we achieve such a remarkable feat? Well, in the first part, I will quickly introduce the theoretical aspect and present the method to you. In the following parts, I will apply the method to various examples and real-life situations. Actually, I have already mentioned the goal we aim to achieve. It may sound ambitious, but the method itself is incredibly simple, so simple that it may even seem laughable. However, please don't underestimate it. It is highly effective. I want to emphasize once again that what I'm sharing with you is based on my personal experiences. So, for now, let's call this method total immersion. It is a method that can help you completely change your life within 1 week, and it is incredibly simple. Don't let the phrase total immersion deceive you. It's really straightforward. The method is simply to dedicate all the time you have to think about one thing that you believe is the most important thing for you to excel at in your current stage of life. Once again, it's very simple. Total immersion means dedicating a significant portion of your time throughout the week to continuously contemplate the thing that you believe you need to excel at the most during this phase of your life. If you can do this, your entire life will change. Let me explain why. Many people fail to develop their lives simply because their thinking has never been clear. They have never dared to dedicate a significant part of their lives to introspect, to look at their issues, to examine their own lives, and to focus on their goals. Looking at your current situation, you have never really done that, and that is one of the reasons why your life feels blurry. We wander aimlessly in this life because we have never seriously looked at our own lives, and as a result, we find ourselves in laughable states. We know so much about the lives of artists, actors, and athletes, but when it comes to asking ourselves, we hesitate and apologize. What do we truly like? Try answering that question and feel genuinely proud of your answer. It's a challenge, and only a few can answer it confidently. Most people either don't know or come up with some vague answers. In reality, they are cases of people who know very well about the positions of others, but are unaware of their own position. Who will you be in this life if you don't know your own position, where you are, and what your issues are? That is what you need to address. Once you solve that, your entire life will change. You can only act effectively when you see your life clearly. If you have a blurred vision, how can you perform well? Total immersion helps you do that. It helps you fully immerse yourself and enables you to address that issue. Let me reiterate the definition you provided. Total immersion, or complete immersion, means dedicating a significant portion of your available time to contemplate what you believe is the best course of action for the present stage of your life. It involves spending a week or any free time solely on reflection, even to the extent of taking leave from work to think, withdrawing to reflect, delving deep into your thoughts. By doing so, you will gain a completely different perspective compared to a week ago. Now let's move on to the first example. Here is the first example. One of the issues that many of you may be facing is feeling stuck and even fearful when looking at it. I hope that in this part, you will boldly and powerfully confront it, look directly at it, and never be afraid of it again. Fear will permanently disappear. What is it that some of you don't know where your life is heading? Do you have an education? Okay, you have an education and qualifications. Do you have a job? Okay, you have a job, and some even have a home, or a suitable place to stay. You also have clothes, a phone, and even a motorbike. So temporarily you may not be lacking in these material things. But what's missing is something internal. You never feel satisfied with this life because of the future, the direction, and the path of your life. It doesn't bring fulfillment because, in reality, you don't know where your life is going. You don't know what you want, what you like, or how to make your life more colorful, meaningful, joyful, and fulfilling. That's why you need to apply total immersion, completely immerse yourself, to resolve this matter. And after total immersion, this emotion will no longer exist. Once you have thought deeply and reached the ultimate point, this emotion will vanish. So, what does total immersion entail in this case? Do you remember the initial definition? It means dedicating a significant amount of time to contemplate what you believe is the best course of action in the present moment. It is for those who feel hopeless, uncertain, and unsure of where their lives are heading. Please provide me with one thing. What is the most important task you need to excel at right now? You can list several options, and then I will help you select the most crucial and significant one. Now, let me warn you about a trap that can easily make you give up when applying this total immersion method. It is when you ask yourself these questions, and in the first 5 to 10 minutes, you may not have an answer. And that's perfectly normal. As I mentioned before, many of us are so knowledgeable about other people's lives, but completely ignorant about our own. If you're not familiar with something, just look into it, and you will become familiar. After a week, you will become familiar. Don't hesitate. The important thing is that total immersion means dedicating your free time to answering this question: what is the most important task in the present moment? It is absolutely necessary, and you need to excel at it. Otherwise, your future will encounter numerous issues. What is most important varies for each individual. Here, I want to emphasize that each life is unique. When you listen to my examples in this part, remember that I'm providing examples and guiding your thinking. These examples aim to help you understand how to apply it in practical situations. However, everyone is different, and you will have different answers related to career, love, health, relationships with others, friendships, or conquering certain goals. Each person is unique. Please remember, but what's important is that we all start with a starting point, which is a question. And please answer it. What is it? Currently, I need to do well, and if I don't do well, life will be very exhausting in the years to come. Take the time today, whether you're free or not, to sit down and think about the answer. Put your phone aside and sit down to contemplate. Take a week or even your entire life to thank you. Focus and please help yourself. Please support yourself with this. Write this question on paper and answer it when you have free time. Take a walk to answer. Sit without drinking coffee to contemplate the answer. Wake up and think about the answer. Brush your teeth and think about the answer. If you even have a day off, would you dare to take a day off just to think about this? I would, because it matters to my life, so why wouldn't I do it? I might even travel alone to a distant place, a quiet place just to answer this question, dedicating an entire day to answer this question, fully engaging with it. And then you will see that your whole life will change after a week, I swear. And when you accomplish this, in essence, you are taking a step towards maturity. Because do you know what maturity is? Maturity is daring to face one's own destiny and life. Many of you have been running away from your own destiny for too long, avoiding your own reality for too long, not daring to think about your own future for too long, not daring to think about your own shortcomings for too long. And when I say too long here, it could be measured in decades, or even several decades. And even this could be the first time for many people. The first time they do it seriously. That is regrettable. Start the journey of maturity right now. Ask a question and dedicate an entire week to it. Believe in this process. Take a break, and it will work out. For example, let's take myself. I take on a role. Yes, I am also an office worker. The salary is okay, and the health is alright. The job is decent. People are relatively fond of me. But I sit and contemplate for a whole week. I think about something I need to do, something that I consider the most important, the most vital. And if I can't do this, my future will only get worse. Loneliness, for instance. I'm just giving an example, like feeling very lonely, sad, and having no friends at all. And when I immerse myself completely for 2 days, I find the answer. Certainly, the most important thing I need to do now is to become someone who is not lonely, to become someone with a healthy social life. I have to accomplish that. If not, my life will be completely messed up. No matter how much money I make, it will be all meaningless. I will discover my problem. Sometimes after thinking for 1 or 2 days, you will surely find a point where you know your life will be extremely happy. If I can improve it. At that moment, you will have a relatively happy feeling. Because you have realized your problem. There is nothing more joyful than realizing your problem and finding a way to improve your life. That's hope, the desperate hope of many people, as if winning the lottery tomorrow, or someone coming to court me. Those are hopes born out of desperation. Because you don't know how to achieve that thing. But the hope that has a basis, the hope based on the fact that I have identified the problem. And I know, if I can solve that problem, my life will change. That is an incredibly exciting hope. Am I lonely now? And for a whole week, completely immersed in thinking, and in 2 days, I found some answers. There are still 5 days left. I sit and think more about the matter, how to overcome loneliness, how to have more friends, how to have better social relationships. For example, when I wake up in the morning, I think about how to solve the problem of loneliness, how to have more friends, how to have better social relationships. For example, waking up in the morning, brushing my teeth, thinking, walking, thinking, changing clothes, thinking, riding a bike without wasting time thinking about this and that. Swimming allows me to think because I'm used to it. I can think while swimming. Sitting and having coffee allows me to think. Admiring the scenery allows me to think, or taking the bus, taking a train, a subway, or any relatively safe activity allows me to think. Flying on a plane allows me to think. Yeah, how to overcome loneliness. I come up with many answers. For example, starting to read books about establishing relationships, starting to join clubs with social interaction, chess club, billiards club, table tennis club, joining a soccer group, for example, and checking if there is any team that needs players. Joining there is like joining a class on a profession. The work I'm currently doing is in the finance industry. For example, there are plenty of finance classes where I can learn knowledge, but learning for the purpose of establishing relationships is another level. Attending yoga classes or going on solo trips. Please don't travel alone just to immerse yourself in thoughts. It's okay. Don't get me wrong, but after going through the process of complete immersion, if you still want to travel, go on a tour because it's easier to make friends then. Sometimes it's just the person sitting next to you. It's possible to make friends, that's the truth. Did you see the answer? And you have to remember one thing, when you completely immerse yourself in your own thoughts, that's when you're focused on your own problems. When you reach a state of clear thinking, when it becomes a solution, you have a great source of energy to carry it out. The difference between someone who is ready to take action or someone who doesn't take action often lies in whether they have deeply thought it through or not. Vague thinking is just a fleeting desire, it can't be sustained for long. But once you dig deep to the core because you've completely immersed yourself, spending all the time to think, the paper you use to write down your thoughts and answers, sometimes you might even tear it apart, then your awareness has deepened several times more than usual. And at that moment, when you look at your actions, the things that need to be done, you will find it easier to carry them out. And suddenly, after that day, you will naturally know what the issue is in your life, what you need to do. And after 7 days, you start taking action, your whole life will change. It's highly likely that after just 1 week, everything has already changed from being someone who couldn't see anything, to becoming someone with clear vision. Don't assume that you understand your own life. Sometimes it's just a misconception. Often, after spending a week dedicating all your time to thinking, you will discover things that you didn't see before, but it's a fascinating journey. I want you to experience it for yourself, and I believe that after the process of complete immersion, you will find clarity. No one will be uncertain anymore. No one will be uncertain anymore. Those who are uncertain about life often have thoughts that can't come up with anything and start playing games on their phones, indicating that the quality of their thinking is extremely poor. They never think deeply, never think to the core. If we consider thinking as a commodity, then it has its ups and downs. Some people have advanced thinking, but they also have what we call outdated thinking, right? So, choose advanced thinking, and if thinking wants to be advanced, it has to go through long, deep, and relatively exhausting stages. Don't think that thinking will be comfortable like that. Afterward, you can be comfortable and happy. But during the process of thinking, having a headache is normal. That's the first example. Now let's move on to the second example, which will be even more relatable. This will be a somewhat mystical part. It is both an elevation and a descent. But once you hear it, you will understand right away. After hearing the first example, I believe many people will have this kind of thinking, and if anyone doesn't have this kind of thinking, I'll open it up for you to understand it, and then you will have this kind of thinking. I already have a job, my life. For example, if I'm studying, I still have to study even if I discover something new. I still have to do it. I still have to continue. Should I just sit there and think completely, and then realize that I like something else? Should I give up everything, and who's to say that the new thing I jump into is completely right? Oh my. I think about it for you so much because I've been through it, and this kind of situation is not unfamiliar to me. I need to tell you, even those who are relatively stable, even if you're not satisfied with that stability, but relatively stable, have a job, even if you're studying, you can still fully immerse yourself, and we can ask the same question as before. But direct the answer towards what you are currently doing. Because life has a rule like this. Many things you are doing, even if you don't like them. But, suppose you do it well, that's when you start liking it. Many people don't like something simple because they haven't done it well. A very simple example is playing a musical instrument, like playing the guitar. Are there any of you who enjoy playing the guitar, sitting and playing a popular song? There is a girl sitting below, and oh my, do you like it? And you hesitate, you declare to the world, I am a music lover, right? Now, I will have a way to make you hate music. I will find a way to make you resent music. I will force you to learn to play an instrument, and the more difficult the instrument, the faster your hatred for music will grow. You play a song, just remembering the keys is not enough. You have to memorize it. You have to tense up and remember the pitches, remember the harmonic relationships between the notes because music, to put it bluntly, is a bit troublesome in this aspect. I apologize to music lovers, but for myself, it is something that I find frustrating. I have to admit that. Then you will experience that feeling, and you will resent music. But what happens if you continue and become proficient? Then, you will love music tremendously, you will be able to play exhilarating songs, you will love music immensely. So, there are many cases, even now, to explain to you that there are many things. Just because you hate something now doesn't mean you will hate it in the future. Remember, hating something now doesn't mean you will hate it later. Sometimes, in the future, you may even love it. Try your best to do it well, and this method of completely immersing yourself can help you like something temporarily, even if you don't like it very much. Ask yourself, look at your current life, what do you need to do well? You have to do it well, and find those things within the things you are currently doing. For example, if you are a student and you realize that you need to understand French, that's something you want. You have to do it. You really want to do it, you have to do it. It has to be done. It has to be done. Then, take it as the focal point of your complete immersion in the process for a week. In that week, when you have free time, listen to it. I promise you. Your ears will be completely different after that week. You will get used to the sound, and even if you don't hear it clearly, you will still understand. Let me tell you about the interesting aspect of practicing listening to French. It's essentially getting used to the sound, so practice it, and you will discover that it's about getting used to the sound, getting familiar with the sound of people speaking. That is the most important thing. And when you become familiar with the sound of someone's speech, you will understand where they reduce their words, where they emphasize, where they link sounds. Sometimes, you can even understand a sentence by just hearing 3 or 4 sounds. You grasp the meaning of what they say, the truth, without hearing everything. It's amazing, isn't it? So, how can you improve your listening skills? Immerse yourself completely for a week. Take any listening material from a listening practice book, or on YouTube. Whenever you have free time, listen to it. You can even listen while reading subtitles if you're free. Make time to listen, especially on weekends. Listen, listen, and listen. The more you listen, the more you will notice the different ways people speak. You'll understand how they pronounce certain words, or reduce certain sounds. Sometimes, they skip the final T in a sentence, and it sounds familiar to you. Spend a week listening, listening, and listening. After a week, your English will change. In the past, when I practiced writing, I couldn't write more than 2 sentences because I felt that what I wrote was nonsense. But I followed this method consistently, dedicating all my free time to writing. I apologize to you all. Now, let's try a surprise writing exercise together. You give me a topic, and I'll write about it. It may not be good because there are some topics I lack knowledge and understanding in, but if you want 500 words, I will write 500 words. If you want 1,000 words, I will write 1,000 words. That is the result of immersing oneself completely. Actually, in the writing process, it took me a few days to start writing fluently. But of course, The level of writing at that time wasn't good. Later on, with more experience, life experiences, and various encounters, my writing became more interesting. At least I accomplished that, just by dedicating a lot of time and immersing myself fully. Don't entertain yourself during that week, and even give up other goals, if they are not too important. Of course, you still have to go to work and take care of your family and children. I agree, but sacrifice most of your remaining time for this task. Do your best at the present moment. It only takes 1 week, and afterward, everything in your life will change. You will appreciate that week, and after immersing yourself completely, you can take a break, even a 3-week break. Then, in the following month, immerse yourself completely again. Do it 12 times a year. On the first day of the new year, when you look back at your whole year, you might shed tears of joy. Tears of happiness because you never thought you could develop like that. Those are tears of success. Of course, you can't understand the tears of success without experiencing them. Sometimes, it's even funny and ironic. That part is left for you to experience. There is no method that is too easy, and simplicity doesn't mean it's easy. So, do you still want to improve your life? It's up to you. If next week or next month, when you wake up and think, I don't really care where my life is heading, I'm fine as it is, I don't need this video or anything, then that's your choice. But if you genuinely want a clear life, if you want to allocate your resources and time to things you believe are important to do well in the present moment, then go ahead and do it. Plan your time for it, don't let it be neglected by anything else that is less important. And in just 1 week, it will benefit your entire life. Once your ears get used to the sounds of French, for example, you will never listen in a confused manner like before. Keep going, baby. See you in the next video.